The eggs started showing up 3 days before Easter, and I should have told someone sooner than I did. I was 24, working overnight shifts at a group home for adults with developmental disabilities. 6 residents, a quiet residential street, a neighborhood where nothing happened. People waved from driveways. Occasionally left vegetables on the porch. It was, by every measure, safe. The first basket appeared on a Wednesday. Standard wicker, fake green grass, jelly beans, foil-wrapped chocolate rabbits. No card. No name. My first reaction was warmth. Churches do things like this, neighbors do things like this. I logged it and set it on the dining room table. The second came Thursday morning. The day's supervisor, Patricia, put it in the back room without distributing it. She wanted to know who was leaving them before she gave residents candy from an unknown source. Reasonable. I agreed. I found the third one Thursday evening, the moment I stepped onto the porch for my shift. I stood there and looked at it for a long time. The first basket felt like kindness. The second felt like someone who hadn't gotten a response and tried again. The third felt like something else. I couldn't say what. I brought it inside, logged it, said nothing. That night, around 2 in the morning, I heard the porch boards creak. 2 steps, a pause, 2 steps. I went to the front window and pulled the curtain aside by an inch. The porch was empty. The street was quiet. A car passed at the far end of the block. Nothing. I logged it and told myself it was nothing. In the morning, there was a 4th basket. I sat with my coffee and thought carefully about who does something like this. A church group puts a card. A neighbor rings the bell. Someone genuinely trying to be kind announces themselves, coordinates, asks about allergies. For deliveries, no name, no contact. That's someone who specifically does not want to be identified. That evening I brought a small wireless camera. My own, personal, inexpensive. I angled it from inside the front window to capture the porch and the front walk. I didn't mention it to anyone. At 1:17 a.m., the motion alert went off. The porch light lit the frame clearly. A figure stood at the base of the steps, looking up at the house. Adult male, jacket, baseball cap pulled low. He wasn't moving. He was just standing there, holding a basket, looking up at the house. 1:17 became 1:22. He didn't move. At 1:23, he came up the steps. He set the basket down carefully beside the door, not in front of it, beside it, against the wall, place rather than left. Then he stood back up and looked directly at the door. And then, slowly, he turned his head to the left, toward the window where I had placed the camera. He couldn't have known it was there. But he turned and looked directly at it, and he stood there for a moment that felt much longer than it was. Then he walked back down the steps and out of frame. I called the emergency line at 1:30. The officer who responded watched the footage 3 times in my kitchen, the stillness of the figure, the slow turn of his head at the end. He said quietly that the behavior was consistent with someone doing surveillance. Not someone being kind. Someone watching the house. Testing responses. Building a picture of the inside from the outside. The baskets, he said, were either a pretext or a form of contact. The detective who followed up called on Easter Sunday morning. They'd identified the man from the footage. Prior for unlawful entry. Flagged in 2 other jurisdictions for similar behavior. Near care facilities. I sat in my car in the parking lot after that call and looked at the porch. The residents were inside, morning routines underway, someone making coffee, someone watching cartoons. They hadn't known. They'd gone to sleep every night not knowing someone was standing at the bottom of their steps in the dark, watching the house, noting which lights came on, which rooms showed movement, using Easter as cover while he built whatever picture he was building. The man was never arrested, as far as I know. I still think about that footage. The patience of him. The basket in his hand. The moment his head turned toward the window in the dark, that slow rotation, as if some instinct told him the house was looking back. The most unsettling part isn't what he might have been planning. It's how long he'd already been doing it before anyone looked out a window.